This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenro radio playlist. zenroclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Portian Bakery. If you're located in the Portian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Portian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone can podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. Okay, I think we'll start off with the Tonga thing because that was like one of the biggest things that happened this week. Although a lot of stuff has happened this week already. So as I said, Tonga, you looked at me like, oh, I totally forgot that was this week.
Right.
You know, it's funny though, relativity, how like it just became a headline story for us, but I'm sure they're still dealing with the ramifications of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the Tonga thing. Yeah. Who knew that? Well, I mean, I guess you do know that these super volcanoes are out there. Although this wasn't a super volcano. Was it a super volcano? No, it's just an underwater volcano.
No, it was just.
No, it wasn't even underwater, right?
Well, it was. Is it considered underwater volcano or like? Cause
I saw somewhere that they're like,
it was
at
the water level kind of thing. Like
okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, all right. Well, that's more like the specifics of it.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is like, I guess we can't ever know about volcanoes, right? Like when they're going to erupt and stuff. That's like the danger of the volcano.
Yeah.
Because we can't account for it.
Right. Yeah. I think this area they considered it like the Ring of Fire. So it's like a bit of an active area. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's one of the bigger ones that did
erupt.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like when you watch the video from like the space video, it looks pretty gnarly because it's like a giant bomb that went off and it's like over a very large area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like usually when a volcano erupts, it's pretty localized, but this one looked like a giant, atomic bomb. Mm-hmm. It made me think of the one that Joe Rogan keeps bringing up is Yellowstone, because apparently that's a volcano. It's a super volcano, and if that explodes, the whole world, like 90% of the world's going to be gone because of the explosion.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess like if you don't already think that you're insignificant in like the whole grand scheme of things, it kind of puts into perspective. Although a lot of like ancient civilizations, they find a lot of those temples that are built within caves or like underground and stuff. Like in India, it's like built into a cave, mm-hmm. and like they find like a lot of like temples were built underneath a bunch of rock, like within excavating now. And one of the theories Graham Hancock believed was it used to be so bad, like the lightning storms and like there were like a lot of these volcanoes mm-hmm. and stuff, they knew to go underground because rock would protect them from it. Mm-hmm. So like that would be pretty gnarly if we start like doing that too, we start like utilizing the underground, especially like as if more and more of these cataclysms keep happening. Well, I guess this wasn't really a cataclysm, but you know what I'm saying. I
mean, it was relatively a big one that we interestingly captured on a satellite image, right? Which was really
like
I don't think it's been done before.
Because usually when you hear about like it erupted or like a tsunami or something, mm-hmm. you're like, okay, you can't conceptualize it, but then once you see it in like a video form, you're like, oh, dude, this could be really bad.
Yeah. And I think they were saying they were pretty lucky in the sense that we didn't have too much of a damage
from this one,
like for Tonga. Yeah.
But okay, so that's the crazy part though, because it's like, what is our failsafe if this does happen? Like, I know they're building stuff in the Arctic, which is like they have like this dome or whatever, and then it has like DNA of all the species, so it's kind of like Noah's Ark, but like a technological.
That's not in the Arctic, though.
What?
That's not in the Arctic, right? That was.
Isn't it in the Arctic?
Was it like Greenland or something? Like
I don't know.
keeping all the species.
Yeah, they have like DNA of
I know they were
as
doing it
many
for like the
people.
seeds.
Okay, no. So there. All right. So we're talking about multiple. So I guess there are like multiple fail safes in case like something happens. But
Okay.
yeah, I've heard of the seed one. There's also like a DNA one that I saw.
Okay, I don't know that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in the Arctic. It's like somewhere like super deep, and it's just like a base.
Uh-huh.
But all it is just keeping like
Yeah.
like
Right.
DNA of multiple
Mm-hmm.
species, kind of like Noah's Ark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is pretty gnarly because it's like if you look into history as well, you know the story of Noah's Ark. We've been planning for these
Catastrophic
major,
events
yeah, right.
to propagate life again after the fact.
Yeah. Which is actually a great segue into I listened to SpaceX versus Blue Origin, and I was telling you about it. I didn't know that the whole mission, like Elon Musk's whole mission, is to off-world us. I read it in his book, the bio book, but then when they did the reenactment in Business Wars, and they're saying it was in 2001, I think, 2 years before he started SpaceX. A comet passed by Earth, and it was super close. That like the scientists were like, "Oh, this could have been bad if it was closer. It actually hit us."
Right.
And then Elon Musk was like, "Okay, there must be some sort of off-worlding mission NASA's doing because he freaked out. Basically, like a traumatic event for him. He's like, "Oh, what are we going to do to solve this problem?" And then he saw on the NASA website that there's no mission to Mars, so that's why he started SpaceX. Like his whole goal, even though he has like multiple goals, his primary goal is to
It's
offworld
the
us
off
as
world.
pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy. It's like at least he's thinking about it, but like nobody else thought that this would be. And it's like, what are we going to do? We're just going to stay on this
Yeah,
planet.
it's
Like,
it's
what?
very interesting in this recent few years where there have been like, okay, well, also, like the next mission is to get to the moon, occupy moon again, and then to Mars.
Right. Is that a SpaceX mission, occupy the moon, or is it just
So
like a collective mission?
it's a NASA mission that SpaceX has contracts for.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the one that they were trying to. Blue Origin was trying to say that there was some unfair competition or something. Why did they give it to SpaceX? Something like that. Remember?
Okay.
And then they had
Yeah,
they had to pause that mission for a little while until
really?
then the courts said no, they can go ahead.
That's funny because in the Business Wars thing, SpaceX wasn't allowed to bid for a contract because like there was like NASA favoritism. So ex-NASA employees, they started their own rocket thing, and then it was too expensive. So SpaceX was like, "Here's our budget, our like lower budget." But then NASA didn't even look at them. They're just like, "We're just gonna go with our old team." And then Elon Musk sued the government because that's like unfair advantage. So it's like it's funny that you said that because that's exactly what, like the Blue Origin thing you just said is exactly what SpaceX did in the past. But okay, so this is crazy too. So in order to prove like the ability to go to Mars, his original plan was to send a spaceship full of mice to Mars and back. And then that was the first plan. And then they were like, the mice will die in transit, but he's like, yeah, but they'll procreate because we'll just like make a really nice like place for them. And then somebody told him, actually, it's more like impressive if you can build a greenhouse on Mars. And then like when I heard this, it made me jump to what we're doing now, which is like they want to build like little like space places in Mars. You know, like his actual mission right now. Like they're trying to like send people there and like it's just funny that this is an old plan from 2003, and now 20 years later, well, almost 20 years later, we're like 2022, we're now seeing the fruits of that one idea.
Yeah, we're still a whiles away to maybe there's still a few more years till we even get to Mars.
But it's crazy because it's like that started back in 2001, and it's like, and now everyone's catching up, right? We're all like, oh,
well,
dude,
it feels like
no.
True, it does feel like that all now, but it took because he's starting from scratch, right? There was no like.
No, totally, yeah, no, for sure. But that's why I'm saying it's funny. It's like that the story of like 20-year overnight success. You know, people are like, "Oh, you're an overnight success." It's like, yeah, it took 20 years to get here.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you have a goal, but how do you reach that goal?
Right?
It's taken this long. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny, like when you I guess when you see it through his brain, it's like so
I
when
mean, it
he
almost didn't happen too. There's
yeah,
that
no,
very,
totally,
very,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
He almost lost it without getting this one contract, which is sending satellites into space.
Mm,
When he got that contract, that gave him like a foothold to have enough money,
right.
and
To
then
get
he
to,
got another contract,
yeah.
and then that's how it all.
Yeah.
Now he's like, all right, cool, I
Mm-hmm.
can monetize this.
Mm-hmm.
But like, but again, it's funny because he's like the only way. Like these contracts were all like, oh yeah, this makes sense like economically, but he's like, I'm actually looking more big picture. I really just want to get us to
Yeah.
Mars, but the
Yeah.
only way to get there is make it economically
Exactly.
feasible.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whereas Blue Origin story, I didn't know this one.
Mm-hmm.
They're not actually, they don't actually care about off-worlding. They want to move um, all of their production, all of our factory work into space, and
Mm-hmm.
Earth will just become like a inhabited zone.
Okay.
Weird, right?
But that feels more like a far away thing. If that
Yeah, it
is,
sounds super like,
that's like super far away.
but I guess like they're both equally far away if you think about it, because like Mars, like inhabiting Mars, like
Well, when did Blue Origin start? Around the same time, or when did they start?
yeah, I think around, not really around the same time, but like maybe
6 years after?
something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I feel like their mission seems like it's a long way off versus like going to Mars seems a bit more.
Really, you think so? I think like going to Mars though is like you gotta bring humans there. We don't even know what gravity's gonna be like over there. Like, can a human? Because you know, like
It's less than ours slightly.
no, I know, but like when you go to space, right?
Yeah.
Your body starts to shift
Mm-hmm.
because that's why they have to keep working out
Yep.
because their muscles like deteriorate. So like sending people to Mars, like what is the ramification of that going to be like long term?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to like look like different human beings later? Or like we don't know. Or how are you going to build gravity there?
Well,
Like enough gravity to so if there's not enough gravity, your body's like kind of goes out of whack. Like you lose the ability to like process things,
yeah.
right? So it's like, how do you compensate for that? Because we don't actually know what that'll do long term.
Yeah, well, they're working on that, I guess. But
Yeah.
but
But
my
at least the space station, if you like centrifugal force, you can build a fake gravity around that.
yeah, they don't have that.
No, I know.
Right.
I'm saying no, like
Oh.
in the shows, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. They have that's like their what was that? The 100. They use that like it was like spinning, and that's how they create the gravity. But like, how do you do that on a planet? Like, how do you build gravity on a planet?
Well, they can't do it on the planet.
No, that's what I mean. So
Yeah,
it's like it seems more difficult.
I feel
than
like
this.
I still feel like I think the Mars thing is now more like in eyesight versus.
No, so totally, yeah. No, we can get there. No,
Yeah.
well, actually, technically, we do have the International Space Station, though. So, like, we're already in space.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm
Doing
saying. We're
things.
already doing. Those are all studies, right? Those are all part of the study.
No, right, but I mean, like, the blue. Like, okay, wait. Do you mean getting to Mars or building infrastructure around Earth to make factory work be in space? Like the Blue Origin thing, or are you talking about the SpaceX thing? Because I think like actually building a greenhouse and sending people to like live on Mars, that seems like very dangerous to me. Because like we don't really know too much of the atmosphere and like
Well, I
the
don't know.
storms
Okay,
and,
so
like-
maybe I misunderstood what the exact thing is for what Blue Origin's trying to do.
oh, it's just build like factory like all the stuff that we don't, you know, like there's like factories here and like like processing plants, you know,
Okay.
like giant stuff that's like polluting our Earth.
Sure.
So he wants to move all of that into space
Okay.
and then just send all our products down to Earth because we'll all be living on Earth, and then like all of our factory, all of our production will be in space,
Okay.
which is like, I mean, maybe, but like, what's the cost of transport? You know?
I mean, I don't. That seems very expensive to
No, for
get
sure,
that
yeah,
done,
for sure.
right? Versus like getting it done
Here,
in a yeah on
no,
a
but the reason why he's doing
with
that,
cheaper costs.
no, the reason why is because there's less and less inhabitable space here, and like there'll be an energy requirement here that isn't enough. He was saying so like too many people, not enough space, so we need to move like the unnecessary stuff.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
I see what he's trying to say, but I don't think we have too many people. So
Oh yeah, no, totally. I think he said like in a few hundred years we're gonna run into that problem, so he's building it now, so that it's like it's beginning. Yeah, it made me think of like Elysium too, though. You know, like two
yeah,
different.
I feel like he's trying to build that actually.
Yeah, it's very weird, but
Well, we'll
yeah.
see. Yeah, I mean,
They have
they
two
both have different
yeah,
missions.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
Like we
which is fine. They're not actually like competing.
no, they're not. So peripherally, when we look at it, they're competing for contracts
Sure.
because that's how they're gonna like make the money.
Yeah.
But from like an audience point of view, we think like, oh, it's a space race, but it's like no, but they're trying to accomplish two completely different things. So it's like they're not. Yeah, there's no competition.
What kind of? I don't think they've done any real. Have they done any contracts? Or like, what's their
Blue Origin?
Yeah, Blue Origin.
Yeah, they. I think they have. I think they have some contracts.
What is their contracts? Is it like?
I think just sending things into space, like satellites, stuff like that, like basic stuff.
But I don't know if they've done anything like that yet.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't know. They're talking about commercial trips to space.
Yeah, that's what they're doing right now.
Oh, okay. So they're hitting that point then.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what they started
their
doing.
plan.
Like all of last year, right?
Oh, okay, cool.
So that's what happened. It became a commercial.
And then people pay like lots of money. So he was saying that a lot of the way you build industry is through commercial like transport, like people going as like a tourist thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they won a contract though.
They may have. I don't. Like it's not that, as well known. I would say. Like
I guess, yeah. Or maybe like Amazon just has infinite money. I remember them talking about like contracts, like with the government and NASA and stuff like that. But yeah, so Elon Musk went to Russia first.
Yeah.
To like, I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
And then
they didn't allow him to learn here.
but no, to buy so he wasn't going to build his own.
Oh, I mean to buy the rockets. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's like, these are like the cheapest that we can get. And then they didn't want to sell it to him, so he's just like, let me just build my own. Or no, they were going to sell it to him, but it would have went too far out of his budget because he had like 20 million set aside, but each rocket was like 10 million or something. And he asked for like 4 million, and they're like, no, 10. So then he's like, I'll just build it myself. Yeah, but the way he explained, because like when he realized I could just build it myself, he's like, it just comes up to like propulsion and beating the atmosphere. That's all space travel is. I was like, wow, you really like simplified it. But we think of it in terms of like, oh, this is gonna be some crazy mathematics or whatever, you know. But it's really just like shoot it fast enough so that it breaks the Earth's atmosphere and gets into space. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's the main thing. But then also figuring out a way for it to come back and land, so they can reuse that booster.
I think that was like a later thing because like he was originally
it has to be a later thing, right?
Like to make it what do you call it?
So you got to first figure out how to get into space, and then
right to make it cost effective, because every time you shoot something into space, you're going to not reuse it, so that's like a sunk cost. And then, but if you can somehow reuse the rocket, which he figured out, then you're paying less over time because you don't have to build it from scratch. Yeah. Sort of like airplanes. Like if you were going to fly
that's what you were saying.
An airplane and then destroy it once you land, it's like the
that was like one of those his main talking points when he was talking about reusability.
Oh, what?
Which is bringing up the plane situation.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. That's it'll be interesting to see where we're headed. I feel like we're like really running fast now, especially with like the Neuralink, the heads-up display contacts that we talked about in the last podcast, and like space travel.
It's the rampant of technology. It's just like like since the internet came, a lot of things have changed.
But you know why though? It's like there's that Moore's law principle where like every year technology has to double in its output, but the energy consumption is like halved or something like that. It's like some principle that they created.
Right. I it's a bit of that, but I feel like it's what the internet has done is where
sharing knowledge
is the idea of sharing knowledge. It's so much faster now that you can get across information so much more quickly and
you can consume information.
That's also adding on to why we're evolving so fast in technology.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, trippy. Okay, so anything else about Elon Musk? I want to bring up another business war that I thought was pretty interesting.
So I think they're, I'm not sure, probably not this month, maybe next month or so, or at least this year, they're going to be doing some of these test ones from their new rocket, right, the BFR.
Oh, okay.
So I'm excited to see those.
Nice. When
It's a huge rocket.
You said next year?
No, this year.
This year?
It will be this year, yeah.
Cool.
It's a huge rocket, so.
BFR, big.
That's the one that's going
rocket.
to Mars.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have to watch the Netflix one where they brought them into space.
Mm.
Yeah.
That was a funny one, yeah. Everyone was one-upping each other, like these different companies, right?
Like, what do you mean?
How long they stay in space.
Oh, yeah. Oh, like with, was it Blue Origin?
Is Virgin?
Virgin. That was
Virgin
the one,
was the first one, then Blue Origin, and then SpaceX did theirs.
Blue Origin was just Jeff Bezos. You know what's funny about the whole Blue Origin thing? Everyone's like, oh, well, these billionaires just like going to space for like for Jeff Bezos, right? And they were like talking about it, like, oh, what a waste of money. But it's like, no, he's literally the human experiment. That's what he's doing. You know what I mean? And you don't understand that it's commercial travel. Like you know
I don't know why they say that though. Like, why are they? They're not. Sure, they're billionaires, but also, like, you guys are using Amazon, so you don't want to use.
No, true, totally, yeah, for
There's
sure.
a difference, anyways.
But like wasted consumption, right? They're like, oh, look, they're just doing these like feats, right? But then it's what I find interesting is that everyone who like tangentially knows about it, they're like, oh, look at this billionaire going to space. But it's like, no, but the bigger picture is he wants to send other people to space and create like commercial space travel.
Yeah.
But it's like, we're not looking that far. We're just looking at like, oh, look, you're spending your money. And then like 10 years down the line, you're like, oh, look, we can travel through space. And then you're like, yeah, but that was a
what
stepping stone to, you know
exactly.
what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
We're so like quick to tear down, but without like thinking about the grander scheme of things.
Yeah. But I like how they all were one-upping each other, though. Like, it just happened to end off with SpaceX being the last one of that year, right? With the commercial.
Oh, and it's like the longest in.
Was the longest, yeah. They were there like 3 days or something like that, and then came down. But it was all autopilot, right? So they didn't do anything.
But that's what it'll be, right? In the future, like yeah, I swear there's like a movie about this. There's movies that have done this where they're like flying to. Oh, it was the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where he lost Total Recall.
Okay.
They're on Earth and then they have vacations in Mars.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's definitely where we're
Those
headed.
are always what I liked. Space stuff. Anyways, movies.
It seems so far off at the time, and now that it's like quickly catching up, makes me want to like re get into those now. It's like, oh, we actually could make this possible, you know? Yeah. Which is the Elon Musk mandate, right? He's like, you gotta wake up and like love things.
Yeah. That's what it feels like what he's doing.
Yeah, right? Because if you're not excited about something in the future, then what's the point of getting up in the morning? It's like, yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So another business war that I thought was crazy is KFC. Like, yeah, obviously KFC, but like, Colonel Sanders, that's a gimmick, eh? He was a con man.
I think I heard this.
Dude, what?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so trippy. So like,
Yeah.
he killed someone in the opening episode of that business war, and he got off on it. He was like a con man with like a hot temper, and then he knew that if he just dressed up like the Colonel, he was like pretty young, so he was like dyeing his hair white and like dressing up like that as like a gimmick to sell his chicken. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's weird when you think about it, because it's like, we really fell for the market. Obviously the product's good, like that's why people kept buying it.
Well, yeah, that's why it's doing well.
Right, but like in like when you hear about it, like, oh, he just played us all. We all thought he was like a real colonel. He wasn't even a colonel.
No.
They just like, I think they gave him that title because he's from Kentucky, and they're just like, well, honorarily put you this. But he was just like, he had. Like,
it's all marketing. String. That's what it was, right?
But he also like faked being a lawyer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like he did like all these crazy things to make money, and then
the
only thing that actually made money was the chicken. But when you hear about like that, you're like, I don't want to support this company. You know what I mean? Like,
But yeah, but you're not supporting him anymore, right? In that sense.
Yeah.
It's
But still, it's
yeah, it's different.
that. All right, so it's sort of like this. Like, if let's say,
Is it a
Apple-
public now? It's a public company.
Yeah, it's public. Yeah, he sold his rights like when he was still alive.
So it's not his.
I know. I'm just saying,
anymore.
like, if you look at it like let's say Apple, you found out it had ties to slavery, you kind of look at the brand differently. You know what I mean?
Like IBM,
It has ties to slavery.
or at least to the Nazis.
Oh, really? Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know that.
Yeah. They were giving them computers and jotting down all the Jews.
Look at that. See, that's terrible, man. So that's why we're Mac friendly.
We have to rebrand. That's what they had to do.
That is the thing. I usually gotta rebrand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you find out about that history, it's like, man, we didn't like before the internet. What kind of world did we live in? Like, no, really think about that. Before the internet, because he just lied. He's like, I didn't even need papers. He's like, he went to like law school like for a little bit, and then he just took some papers. He's like, yeah, I'm a lawyer.
Right.
And then he started like getting in fights with his clients. He got into a fist fight in a courthouse, and then that ended his law career.
Right.
But it's like, really, this guy's the Colonel. Like, you think of Colonel Sanders, and you're like, oh, this like jolly old man on the side of my KFC bucket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like that's not who he was. He was like when I look at the Colonel image now, I'm like, we're all being lied to with this like fake branding. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yo, what if they just like take his image off, just like they do with like those like politicians who are like slave traders, remember? And then they're like tearing them all down.
Yeah.
That whole like movement that was just that just happened. Yeah. I don't know. So yeah, but without the internet, man, you can't fact check things,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
right? Like you just like, yeah, I'm a lawyer. They're like, oh yeah, I trust that you're a lawyer. And I was like, where'd you get? Oh, like,
But that's the thing, right? I don't know how you could have easily gotten away with lying back in those times.
that's what I mean.
But
Dude, it's so trippy.
but I guess people were more. Is it because you were religious and you shouldn't lie? It's like a sin, or like, is this why people weren't doing it?
Totally. I think that's
Right.
why religion was there. It was like a safeguard against all this. It's like you don't want God to smite you. But then what about the people that knew that was just a lie and then just used
Exactly,
that to
they were
their
going to
advantage?
manipulate it. They're going to misuse.
And then if you look at it like that, it's like our whole civilization has just been built on a series of lies. Well, I call them marketing. So it's like, because, marketing is really just a series of lies that you frame together to make a nice thing. Yeah, like for example, like if you like the thing I like about marketing is like it's just how you frame the situation. So it's like if you met Drake at a party or something, you're like, oh, I know Drake. You have a photo with him.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, yeah, but you just took the photo. But you're like, oh no, I know him. You know, like
Yeah.
and who's gonna check that? Yeah, trippy. Anyways, that was my interesting KFC story. Do you like KFC?
What was the business wars about? What? Like, it's just about KFC?
Oh,
or?
and Chick-fil-A.
Oh, Chick-fil-A. What did they say about Chick-fil-A?
Nothing bad actually. It was like very religious based.
Yeah, it's very religious
It made
based.
me like Chick-fil-A better. The whole reason why
that's
they
funny.
have. Yeah, no, right? Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah, because wasn't there like
the situation?
Yeah, but there was like a huge backlash in like recent years.
Oh, because of the Sunday thing? Because they were like LGBTQ. Like,
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
against
yeah.
that. But that's the religion though, man. That's like
No, I know.
you know when people say like don't argue politics and religion, but it's like, okay, but you're doing it though. You know, it's like what inclusivity if you're like against a religion, but
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I
that's
mean,
why we're not religious.
right. But I do think Chick-fil-A is pretty good. So
Yeah, that's
comparatively to KFC, I would say.
yeah, they're explaining the reason why it was so much tastier.
Oh,
It's because they leave it to baste overnight. So
Okay.
like you put the sauce in, you put it in the fridge, and then you cook it the next day. They're giving away the secrets.
Yeah.
But so the reason, so what's interesting is
Well,
like,
not the secrets of the ingredients. But
no, they're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, in KFC, the 11 herbs and spices, they actually have that in like a vault. Like,
Oh,
with
yeah?
the,
Hidden
yeah,
in-
they were talking about that. Like his recipe is like stored in like a super secure vault.
Okay.
Yeah, like made for like military grade things.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah, because they don't want
Makes
to.
sense.
But I mean, come on, like, you can totally reverse engineer that. It's the marketing now, you know. Like before it was the
No, I think you
product, but
can.
now it's like-
I think they can. figure out the ingredients, but maybe not the percentage of these ingredients.
Oh, true. Yeah, I see what you're
Right? Like
saying.
you can have individual. You break it down.
It's like
what's-
we know paprika's in
Okay,
here. We know
here,
this. Yeah,
but we
yeah,
don't know
totally.
like how much of
Yeah,
each is exactly used.
True. It also made me think about like businesses in general. Like you have to be able to scale your business, like selling the products. If you're at one physical location, you can, so like one store, if you sell that one product at that one store, you're capped, right? In your ability to like produce things.
Yeah.
Like you're capped by like energy, machine power, people, all this stuff. But if you license, which is what they did, if you license the know-how to other people, you're just getting a piece of that as like franchise royalties.
Yeah.
It's like McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
Like you have a bunch of different franchises. They just have the same branding and like the know-how.
Yeah.
And you just take a piece of that. Yeah. It's interesting, like even like agents for artists, they take like 5%, but 5% of $2 million is a lot of money. And if you have like 10 clients,
Yeah.
so it's like, okay, I get the game here. It's really not about like that one impactful thing. We're all looking at that $1 million product, right? They're like, I need to come up with this $1 million idea that everyone's going to want, right? But it's really just like, if you can just license multiple things or like take pieces of different things, then it like adds to a bigger basket later on.
Yeah.
You know, like diversification of your income. Yeah, I don't know why I went down that rabbit hole. Okay, so another marketing. Oh wait, sorry. I was gonna say this about Chick-fil-A. So the reason why the sandwich came about, you know, like they're famous for the sandwiches. So this person, they were gonna sell chicken to an airline. Not Chick-fil-A. They were gonna sell chicken to an airline, but they cut the pieces too big. So the airline was like, "We're not gonna buy this off you. It's too big." So they're like, "We need to offload this on someone else." So the guy selling the chicken was like to the Chick-fil-A dude, "Hey, I have like 200, or like a huge stockpile of like half chicken pieces." And he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll buy them off you." And then he started experimenting with like, what if I put bread on top of the chicken? And then what if I add like pickles? And you know what I mean? Like it was just a happy accident. Nobody was thinking about chicken sandwiches. It was just, what are we gonna do with this?
Right.
Yeah. And now it's like freaking,
That's all we know about chicken
right?
sandwiches.
Yeah. Who buys, I mean, like other than, you know, like Chick-fil-A, I don't even think you could buy chicken pieces anymore, right? But that's how they started, though. So they started with
just selling chicken
pieces, just
pieces.
chicken pieces, and then they fully shifted to chicken sandwiches.
Interesting. When did they start? Like
Chick-fil-A,
like
around the same time as
Chick-fil-A.
KFC.
And then McDonald's is like even older, or
No,
like,
McDonald's is younger than them.
oh really?
Yeah, McDonald's is like within the last. Don't quote me, but it was in the Founder movie.
Yeah, I don't remember the year.
100 years ago or something. It's not that long, like 19.
But Chick-fil-A and KFC are older than them.
Yeah, it was during like World War One. Oh, two. World War II.
That's 1945.
Yeah, I'm bad with history. I'm pretty sure it's older.
Okay, well, I want to double check that. It's interesting to know
Like who came
first in this fast
because they were talking about like
world.
the recession of World War. No, it's before World War II. Because they were talking about
So 1920s.
something like that. Because they were talking about like the loss of jobs in the market because of the recession and World War II starting and like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, trippy.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but again, it's like it's just funny that these global brands now really started years ago. Like SpaceX, right? Like the idea was in 2001, and now we're talking about 2022, and it's like a household
Now
name,
it's a worldwide thing.
right? And it's so
Worldwide.
trippy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, this is pretty interesting too. Yesterday, at like Tara's like dinner, we were talking about cars, and then her sister was like, "Oh, I really want this BMW, blah blah," blah. And then they're like, "Oh, VJ, what car is your dream car?" And I was like, "I'd get a Tesla." And then they were like, "Oh, what's this Tesla?" And I started explaining it to them, and they were like, "Oh, this sounds like futuristic." I'm like, "Yeah, but like when you think of cars, it's like you think like anything that's gas powered seems so archaic to me now." So I was like, "You gotta enter the future with like." I was like, "Yeah, you can play video games in it. You can watch movies." They're like, "What?" And like, "Yeah, it's like it's one component piece, so you don't even need oil changes and like, you know, all this stuff."
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I was saying like how when you build a car, right, it has like multiple pieces pulled together from different things like you get your transmission from one place and then you put it there.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Like no manufacturer like just builds everything at once, right? Except for Teslas, because they start to finish their whole car.
Oh, they do the same thing other places.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
they import their stuff.
Yeah, it's all.
Oh, okay. So that was a total lie. Just spreading lies there. I thought they built their whole thing from themselves.
No. What do you mean themselves? No. All manufacturing places build. If they're going to build a car, they're building the whole car.
Oh, wait, no. Wait, no.
Like the parts may come in from different areas, but
that's what I meant.
They're building the car all in one area.
Oh, okay. I thought Tesla was all like one. Like it's like an Apple. Like it's all proprietary, so we know how everything's going to fit together.
Well, they have a specific way of how they build their car, but they probably do get some parts outside too. Yeah.
Okay, I just
same thing with an iPhone.
Straight up lied.
Same thing with an iPhone.
All right, if you listen to this, I straight up lied to you. Or whatever. It's like
even the iPhone. It's like some of these chips are actually from Samsung.
Oh, wow.
But they manufacture. They put them all together, right? Apple does.
Yeah, but like BMW does the same thing.
Same thing.
Oh, wow! I got marketed.
They're not gonna like build a portion of a car and then send it somewhere else to put another part in. I think all the parts, all the parts are there in the same building.
But don't they work in like synchronicity with one another? It's sort of like the Apple, what do you call that, ecosystem?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I thought it was like everything was made in house so that it could make the perfect car.
I don't think it's all made in house.
Oh, all right.
I don't want to say all made in house. Maybe something.
Oh, obviously, it's like a nut and a bolt. But I mean, like the primary things are all.
I feel like maybe yeah. They had to learn and figure it out. That's why they took a long.
Yeah.
It took some time. They had a lot of production delays. A lot of these things used to happen to Tesla all the time because it is a new type of thing, right?
No, but
that they're building.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like everything is very specific. Like I could take a car battery from.
But what I'm saying, like, it's all new to Tesla as a car company, right?
Let me ask you this question then. Can you, so with a regular car, I can take a car battery from like a generic brand and then put it into my BMW or my Toyota? Because it's just a car battery, right? Or like an engine exhaust. I can take that and then move it. But can you do that with Teslas?
Well, Tesla you have to buy the products from Tesla.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Okay. So it's not like it's not like
you can't buy it. I don't think there's any third party.
That's what I mean. So it's like
people making things.
It's like a Mac and a Windows, right? So like regular cars are like Windows or like Samsungs.
Yeah, you can
like
say that.
Add stuff together. Like
sure.
Like if my car battery dies for my Volvo, I don't necessarily need to go to Volvo. I could buy like generic brand or like generic tires. But can you do that with Tesla?
There are some brands, yes, for like tires and stuff.
No, all right, tires, but like I'm saying component parts for the vehicle. Like the battery, no. The exhaust, no.
No, you're buying the products
from Tesla.
It has to be from Tesla.
That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not like a Franken car. You can't make a Franken car.
Yeah, I don't know too much about cars. I don't like. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Because
I just had to change the battery for our Toyota, and it's not like just you have to go to Toyota to get the battery.
No. Yeah.
You should go wherever.
But yeah, we have a battery too. Like there's two batteries in a Tesla. Same thing.
Right, but can you just go anywhere?
The 12-volt battery, I believe you can.
Okay, well they probably just plug that in like just in case you.
But
can't.
there is like newer 12-volt batteries that if I am to ever change it, there's a like a lithium-ion based versus a lead-based battery.
Okay.
Which is a new thing for Tesla.
So if you need like I guess you won't need an exhaust because it's not gas powered.
Yeah.
What about like headlights?
Yeah, I'm sure you can probably buy them outside, but I don't know.
But it's not like standard fat. Like
most people will just go to the Tesla service center.
That's what I mean. That's what I meant.
Yeah, you can go to any service center. Like you go to Canadian Tire. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
for a gas car.
Gas car, yeah.
But for me, there's not. I have to go to a Tesla
dealer.
or a Tesla certified
That's what I mean. That's what I meant. So it's
dealership.
like it's all one,
Or a shop, sorry.
It's all one unified body. Like sure, all right, fine. Maybe they don't make the bolts themselves,
Right,
but it's
right.
like I can't make a Franken Tesla car, but I can make a Franken whatever car. Like if I wanted like a BMW spoiler on the back of my, well, actually no, that's more of aesthetic. If I want to change the exhaust for my Toyota, I can like pump any exhaust pipe in there, and it'll work fine. But you know what I'm saying? Like you make a Franken car.
I understand. I wonder if they have to, like, there's specific things.
No, obviously it's like this is a J piece doesn't fit with an L piece kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's like, then are they ordering that part from Toyota? They're ordering the part from
No,
Toyota.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure you can buy like whatever, because like Canadian Tire has like millions of parts that you can just swap in and out for cars.
Yeah. I wonder if it's a certain car. I don't know. I don't know too much about it, but yeah.
Because I had to
But I
switch
know
something out, so I was like,
I'm-
okay,
right. But I
buy
know
whatever.
Right. I know, like for the Tesla, it is more specific, so you have
That's
to.
what I meant. And
Yeah.
because of the uniformity, it's going to run better because it's like all right, to
Right, yeah,
put
I
it
see
like
what
a
you're
Mac,
saying.
like,
Yeah.
Like I can't just swap out the sure the graphics card might not be made by Mac, but I can't just swap it out for any graphics card. So that's
Right,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
right.
I can't make a Franken Mac.
I got you. Yeah.
I can't make a Franken Tesla.
Sure.
Yeah. And that's why I was saying it's like that's why there's less bugs in it, because it's very specific.
Or if whatever the bugs are, they know specific to how to fix
Yeah, totally.
it or create a fix around it. Yeah.
Or like Wi-Fi updates. I was telling them like if you need, because the actual car itself, the hardware doesn't change, but the software can update. So you can get like new software updates all the time. Just Wi-Fi
Hardware does
connectivity.
change, though.
No, obviously no. But if, of course, it changes like over time. But if you wanted if they release a new software update, it doesn't affect your car.
Right.
Like you can do autopilot with your car or not. You don't have to buy a car specifically with autopilot features.
Right.
You're just buying the subscription.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So it's like that's like
Like a lot
soft
of
things
yeah.
and hard things.
Funny thing, even like a lot of the times with the Tesla too, you're buying basically like a preset. Like all these parts are in there.
Yeah.
But if you're not buying, so like I can buy aftermarket, or not aftermarket. Like I can buy if I want to upgrade, not unlock basically.
Unlock, yeah. Subscriptions.
There's that, but it's like I have seat heaters already built into the back seats.
That's exactly what I mean.
But
Yes.
it's not. I paid for the car without a back seat heater for the thing. So if I want it, I can just buy that, and it'll just start working.
That's exactly what I mean. So it's
So
like,
they've already put it into the car.
So that's what I mean. The hardware doesn't change. Whereas if you're buying so let's say you're buying a Volvo with no seat heaters. If you want seat heaters, you have to buy a whole new Volvo or change out the seats because the hardware changes.
So like
when you said their hardware changes, yeah, like just like an iPhone does, it gets better.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the features in the car. You don't have to, like, you can turn on and off stuff. You don't have to.
there's a lot of Teslas. This is thing on my Twitter at least. It's they did it for, I think when they went from one. So like say like. The one I have is not the latest one, but there's a newer one coming. But the cars that were older than mine had a different motherboard, let's say.
Okay.
But in order to have the new autopilot stuff, you could buy the new motherboard and they will swap it in. So you're changing the hardware too. But so what I'm saying with the Twitter thing is that people are hoping that these new models are coming in. Can we swap out for like the one that's with the PS5 type graphics? Can we swap in for that?
Interesting.
Motherboard or whatever?
Yeah.
Those chips, can we swap in? So that's what people are waiting to find out if that's
Is it
plausible
super
or not.
expensive to swap it out or no?
At the price point, I think if it were doing it was like $1,000 from the old one to mine.
Like to swap it? So it's $1,000?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the other thing. Like with that one, they've made it, because of all the integrations and they know what they're doing right away, it's like easier. But if I were to go buy aftermarket stuff for my like Franken car, it's gonna cost like so much more money, like way more than $1,000. even to switch out like but like that's because whatever model you bought it at, you have to upgrade it. Like if you want I don't know how else to put this, but if you want,
It's like think of like just an iPhone, right? But you can just bring it in and they'll swap out the motherboard so that you can have the latest iPhone without actually buying another iPhone.
Right.
So don't need to buy another whole new Tesla.
And it keeps cost exactly, and it keeps cost down because they know what they're doing within this thing.
Right.
Like everything's like fitting perfectly, but to go to like a custom dealer to change your car, that's like a lot of money. Like remember Pin My Ride? So it's like that. It's like you're paying that guy to customize your car.
Right. Yeah.
Which is like so much more work than if it's like these are basically the more limited your options, the less money it'll cost to do those upgrades because they know what they're specializing in those things. But if you have like unlimited options, you have to find like specific people that know how to do that stuff.
Right.
Anyways, yeah, that's just why I don't like the old cars now, because they just seem so like archaic. It's like why not just go 2022, bro? Like, plus the tax thing, not the tax, the no more gas cars in 2035 or something like that.
Yeah, we'll see if that happens.
Oh, you don't think so?
It's not that it's not going to happen. I think that you'll see more and more of them, but there's a lot of infrastructure you have to build around it that we should be doing like in the next few years to get to that point.
Oh, okay. Right, like more charging
charging areas.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to happen. You'll probably see more gas stations having more chargers.
Right, okay.
I think that's going to start happening.
But you'd also use your home plug too.
Yeah, most people can, but again, if you were living in an apartment, you can't, right? Like, how are you going to charge it?
Yeah, that's true too.
So that's why they have to figure this out. And battery technology will get better as time goes on.
Faster charging.
Yeah, because there's a new one that I'm waiting for, the Tesla new type of battery that we've been waiting for a couple of years for them to start bringing out.
Can you swap out that battery later, or would you have to buy a whole
I'm
new
not
one?
sure. I don't think so. I might not be able to.
Well, not too bad. Yeah.
So that one we're waiting on, because those new battery types will have like longer range.
Well, that's good.
And possibly fasting charging too. So.
Yeah, but those are like major upgrades, like that.
Yeah, those are major upgrades. Yes.
Yeah, we're talking about like simple upgrades. Like it's all in the car already. You just have to unlock the feature.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think by the time when we slowly start really transitioning, then these types of batteries will be there. You're going to get more range. It's going to be more cost effective.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Actually, we were talking about also self-driving, and I was like saying how like they're saying like, oh, that's kind of freaky, but I'm like, theoretically it's actually better because you're relying on a computer with more data input to like guide you. And the only reason why they crash is you're not supposed to go in those areas, right? Where like the Teslas have crashed. They're like, we said not to do it there. So it's like, you just didn't
it's not
listen,
just
bro.
not to do it there. I think these they tell you to. You're still got to be aware. Like this is not.
Totally.
This is not.
It's not foolproof.
This is not level 5 autopilot. This is not level 5 autopilot, right? We're still in like level 2 or something, or 3. Transitioning to 3 slowly.
Still super cool.
But like I remember like when I was first using it, I was skeptical or more cautious. And then as I got used to how it exactly works, I'm a bit more comfortable with it.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
We do have, maybe it's not here yet, but we have that one where it's like you punch in the location and it'll like get there for you.
It's there, but it's still like in
beta.
You still have to be the one paying attention to the road.
No,
right?
totally. Yeah. But I'm saying like,
it can do that. Yeah, that's like FSD, which I had for like 3 months, right? The first 3 months.
Yeah. So it is, the potential is there.
It does like change lanes for you and all that stuff to get to
Sick.
that location. Yeah.
Yeah. Buy Tesla. That's the
I
future.
hear the beta versions are slowly going to come for Canada as well.
You know what? Oh, okay, that's cool. Well, yeah, I guess like, America's got more like
people have been
Tesla.
asking, which I would like to have as well, which is like you to get your driving score.
Oh, what?
Like how well you drive.
Oh, I wouldn't want that.
So they were doing that if you had they were first giving out, like in America, they were first giving out to people who were having 100 had a 100 score.
Okay.
Like a perfect score, and they were giving them the beta access.
Oh, that's
And then
cool.
slowly for people who are at 99 or 98.
And then slowly give it.
So I do want to. That'd be cool to have, just like as a Like this is, and because eventually they even in some states in America, Tesla has their own insurance,
Oh, that's cool.
so they can go based on your driving habit.
Yeah, yeah,
Already
yeah.
give you a good rate.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that though, because I'm not
Well,
the
that's you. You don't
most.
have to do that, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I would like that because then I don't have to. Because even certain insurance here, they give you an app and
yeah, yeah,
drive for the app for like a
yeah,
few
yeah,
months, and then it'll lower your rate,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
But then this one is they're continuously knowing how you're driving, so over the years, then they will.
Like, well,
Probably.
like, yeah, I guess if you're like if you follow the rules, but which I'm not. I wouldn't say I do often. But all right, so it's funny because like no
Because I don't
matter.
really drive fast. I just let the car drive, right? I guess
Yeah,
especially on the
yeah,
highways, so I don't.
yeah, exactly. Whereas like I'm always in a rush.
But that's the
So
thing, right? Because I like to. It's like this thing where it's like a fast car driving slow versus like a car that's not supposed to be fast driving fast. It's like it's funny when I see that all the time on the highways. It's like you're trying to show off,
or
like
no,
to
you're
the other
trying to get
people.
to another place, bro. Like we
No,
got
no, no. I'm
time,
saying like
bro.
when I'm not talking about you. Like I'm talking about
Yeah.
like that's a
No, no, I
different
know what you're
scenario.
saying.
But I'm
Yeah,
saying that
yeah.
there's cars that do that, where it's just funny to me when I see that.
That's why the other thing is like when we're talking about cars is like no matter what car you tell me you because they were like okay what was your dream car and I was like oh Tesla and they're like oh which one would you get the Cybertruck whatever and I was like I would get the Plaid because that is 0 to 100 in less than 2 seconds. Like no car on the market, no gas powered car on the market is going to beat that. I mean, like, unless you're like the
Well, right.
Ferrari
Yeah,
10,000, whatever, you know.
No. Still, I think it's
Oh, really? It's
it's
still
the
faster?
fastest car and it's the fastest family car.
So there you go. So why would you want anything other than this? Like, makes no sense. And what's crazy is like, it's just
But
it's just an upgrade. The Plaid's just an upgrade, right? It's like a feature.
um, I I don't know what you mean by
Like
upgrade.
it's like you have to unlock the Plaid like a subscription model.
I think so.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like just get a Tesla.
Oh, you're buying the Plaid model. That's a,
Oh, okay. So it does have
it has
specific things, but you still have to pay for the Plaid subscription, right?
no
Oh, it's built in?
subscription.
No, like a FSD.
That FSD is different.
Like okay, so
You can buy that out.
no, like a lunatic mode. Joe Rogan was talking about that.
No, that's not a subscription thing.
Oh, really? Oh, it's just in the car.
Yeah, so when you buy the Plaid car, you have Plaid.
Yo, that's crazy. See, that's the one I would get. Like what gas powered car are you gonna pick that's gonna be better than that? I can play video games in it, watch movies, and beat any car on the road, all while being environmentally friendly. You know, it's future.
Yeah. That's the point. It wasn't necessarily about environmental friendly, but that's
No,
the
it's
other
not. Yeah,
byproduct
yeah.
of it.
I mean, technically, it's not really, but like
In general,
yeah.
in overall terms, it is, but it's not. That's not the reason I technically bought the car, right?
No, of course, yeah, because it's just a
the
better
car is
car.
already cooler than all the other cars.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
So that's
for
fine.
sure. Okay, yeah, yes.
But I'm a big Cybertruck. I think that'll be out probably next year or end of this year.
That one looks too ugly for me. Like
I like it.
That was weird. What are we doing with that? Like, are we in like a war-torn country?
No, it's
Yeah.
it's a Mars ready vehicle.
I know, but like in a rural, like a regular city environment, I'd be like, oh, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so went off on the Tesla for a bit there. Did you find anything about the North Korean testing?
No, I didn't look into
A
it.
lot of stuff happened this week. Don't worry about it. You know, North Korea is testing missiles. I finished that "Don't Hurt Me" book, and I was saying to you that I think it's really funny that, like, we look at these in like David Goggins, we look at him as like a motivational force, but like reading books is cool because you get to like peer into their mind, and you find that he's very like hate driven.
So okay, who is this person? Do people know who he
like,
is?
Yeah, no, a lot of people. Yeah, in the motivation community.
Okay. Oh, in the
He's like-
motivation.
yeah, he's like ex Navy SEAL. He like runs these crazy marathons, but he basically breaks his body down into a way. Like a lot of people are like, oh, he's so motivational, but I'm like, he's also seems very masochistic in his pursuit because it was like based on a trauma that happened as a kid, and then it just spiraled into this need to be validated, you know? But I feel like that's how all motivational people are.
Right.
Like there's like some deficit that they feel, and then they're trying to fill a hole. That's why I like people like Joe Rogan, where it's like you're not trying to be motivational, you just are motivational. Although, I mean, he is trying to fill a hole too, he's been saying. But anyways, yeah, I just thought that was funny that nobody reads books, and if you just look into like the book of it, you'd be like, do I really like this guy? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like just like the Colonel Sanders thing, and yeah, life is just a marketing experience.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but they give everything out in the book. That's the thing.
But nobody reads the book, that's what I'm saying. And like everyone's like, yo, you love David Goggins? I'm like, did you read his book? Seems a little not so lovable. Okay, so next thing, the metaverse graffiti.
Oh yeah,
All right. So I'm not a fan of NFTs, but like it makes no sense to me. Although I feel like everyone's cashing in on that right now. Like UFC just said, like, oh, we're dropping the NFTs this week. It's like, all right, chill, bro. Like,
hey, everyone's doing it.
You know what? Command delete, gone forever.
No, I think in Twitter too. There's you can have your NFT, but you have to pay something. I think to get it as your profile.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
image, right?
Yeah,
but it'll be like in a hexagon format or something, so they know it's an NFT that you bought one. So it's becoming a thing.
I remember what I was gonna say last week. I think last week was the Matrix Resurrections. So I saw this. This is the one I was like. Remember, I was like, oh, I forgot. I wanted to say one more thing, but I couldn't remember it. I remembered it now with this NFT thing. They did an interview with Neo or Keanu Reeves. Sorry. And they were like, what do you think about NFTs?
Oh yeah.
And stuff. And he's like, you mean things that could just be easily copied? And then the guy was like, no, but it's not, it's unique. And then he started laughing. I'm like, yeah, you understand that this is dumb. Like,
yeah.
Like he made a whole movie about the Matrix and about how you're all sheeple and like all this stuff. And like, and you're trying to convince him that a bunch of ones and zeros are not replicable. It's okay, so you have, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's like you have this one line of code that says it's the original. Who cares? I can still screenshot it. I can still take a photo on my phone. Like, it's not like a painting where it's like physical. You can like touch that, in reality. Although I guess with like haptic suits, it would feel physical in the future, but that's not what I want to talk about. So I'm not a fan of NFTs, but when I saw the graffiti thing, I'm like, that would actually be a cool economy thing. Like, it's not an NFT, but it's like if you paid somebody to spray paint your physical house in the metaverse, and then it had like this design that only you had, that does seem pretty valuable to me. You know what I mean? Like if you basically like custom skin, you could just like purchase
right
like custom Halo skins or like that seems cool. I don't know. Dude, like
I mean,
I don't think it would be worth $100,000 though. That's crazy. But
no, you're just paying. It's what you're doing is basically you're hiring someone to do work on your virtual home.
Yes,
right?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's like it's building up these like economies, and I think that artists who have this ability, like there are certain artists that I follow. What they do is you send them your Nikes, and then they'll paint on your Nikes, like anime characters, and then they'll just mail it back to you, or like your wallet, or whatever. And like that seems like a more viable economic. Although maybe I'm eating my own words here, because like technically that is what an NFT is. Like Beeble, Beeble. So he sells some of his art. Instagram guy? Yeah. So he sells some of his artwork as NFTs, so only that person gets it.
But as a digital thing, you can always just
you screenshot it. Yeah.
Like but
there's a difference if it's a skin, because I'm using it. Nobody else can use that.
If you can do that,
if you can utilize it, totally cool. But if it's like a picture, that makes no sense to me. But if it's a skin for if you're the only one with the Louis Vuitton
like a character
Halo
skin.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That right? You pay like $20,000 for a Louis Vuitton Halo skin, totally worth it.
Sure.
But if you're gonna buy,
but I don't feel like it's. Is it? it's not
But
like
but it wouldn't be worth $20,000 because you can just find another coder who's just going to
copy that or
copy
like
this
make something
game,
exactly,
like
exactly.
Pacific Mall style. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is all gonna happen anyway.
Yeah. So it's like, do you need to buy the real, Gucci wallet, or can you buy the knockoff Gucci wallet?
but also it's like it doesn't seem feasible. It's like why are we just selling one of them? Right?
Yeah. Well,
Why
that
would you
makes
do
no
that?
sense. Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly, dude. You should
Like
license it out and just
yeah.
yeah.
Why would you
I
just
don't know. I
sell
feel like people didn't. You know what it is? It's like, people just don't. We're like, we're really like, I guess like, was it moths to a flame right now? We see something bright and we're all just rushing towards it without like giving any second thought. I think the smartest people are the people that register NFTs. So like my cousin's building an NFT, and I was like, "Oh, how do you do that?" He's like, "I pay $90 to host it on a server," and I'm like, "Well, if nobody buys it, then at least the server guy gets paid $90."
right.
So it's like he's the one really winning right now. Because like, imagine how many people make NFTs. Like, sure, like you host an NFT and then you sell it for like $20 million or whatever, right? But that's one out of how many people are trying to build NFTs right now. So they're all paying $90. So the host of this is making the most money.
Right.
It's like the landlord. It's crazy world. Crazy world. But I like the graffiti art, the skin.
Yeah,
That was really cool.
But this is a VR thing, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like metaverse. You still have
Was it in the metaverse? Or just
No, I'm saying no. I'm
Like
saying
to-
like
if it
you
goes into
do
the
this in the
metaverse.
metaverse.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah.
he was just doing it as I don't know, art piece.
Yeah.
It seemed like a video game or something that he was playing, like a graffiti.
Yeah,
video game.
I've seen it before.
Oh, cool. Yeah. But what
But
I'm
it
saying
takes
is, like,
skill to
for sure
to
dude,
do it in
for sure.
3D space,
Yeah.
right?
To do it in VR space.
In VR
'Cause
space,
you can't
sorry.
like feel the
3D VR space, yeah.
But if you link that with the metaverse, where it's like you can buy land, like digital land, then that makes sense. Like your home could have like a dope wall that was like built by an artist.
Sure.
But again, like command delete. Although I guess the argument would be like, okay, fire, and then it burns your stuff to the ground anyways. So it's like our version of command delete in real life is fire.
Sure.
Well, what I mean is they're both like transient. They're not. They don't last forever. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so speaking of digital stuff, esports. Shout out Mervin Deos. You're in LA right now, with your homies doing that esports. But I think you and I are definitely not in. I mean, maybe you are. I'm definitely not into like this new world. Like you were showing me the video of like people watching League of Legends, and we're both like,
well, we're already not
this,
really
bro?
into sports as much.
I would watch UFC though.
Yeah, but it's a bit different.
It's more like combat.
Yeah,
it's like fighting.
it's a different kind of thing, right? I'm not really into sports.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind watching here and there, but I like for like in Olympics or something. But watching people sit and play a game in esports is a bit weird for me. It's like
a little odd.
I don't know why I would not be cheering. Like it's odd to see.
Yeah, it's super weird. And
it's skill, sure, to play the game, but it's just a video game in that sense.
Yeah, it's like well, I mean, I guess technically you say that about basketball too, right? It's like you're just throwing a ball through a hoop.
Yeah. Well, there are people that do say that, right? Who don't care to watch those things.
That's true, and I guess that's where our mindset is at.
Yeah.
Like, I like the martial arts stuff because it's like what would really work. I'm looking at it more like scientifically.
But you're also doing it. You're also like you're.
Oh,
I mean, like you're in.
I mean, there are people that play basketball too. Right?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, there was, of course, what people will be liking.
I see what you're saying.
Will be liking that sport, right? Like, I play video games, but I don't necessarily will watch another person
play video games
in a league or like this, right? I guess Twitch is kind of like that, but you're watching a person
and you're like rooting for them. It's kind of weird.
Yeah,
but
it's the it's.
I mean, I get it.
I get it.
Yeah. Like, if you're like, well, but that's just like basketball. Yeah, technically it is.
Yeah, but it is a bigger audience.
That's the part I was
NHL and NBA. combined,
What was
or
it?
NFL combined.
The only one that's not it's beating is soccer.
Yeah,
You're saying?
soccer is a worldwide thing, right? So, and I think this is getting pretty big.
Yeah, there.
Yeah.
Like to that level.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny again with the esports thing. Like my cousin was living in the Philippines. This was like years ago, like in the early 2000s, and he was telling me about like Chinese billionaires who would fund these teams. And then I was like, wow, that sounds that sounds pretty crazy. But it seems like an Asia only thing. And then now with Mervin going to LA, playing for that team that's funded by, more like millionaires, billionaires. It's like, oh, it's the 20-year overnight success, like the SpaceX thing, right? It's like you heard about this a long time ago, and it finally caught up in the mainstream.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then they're investing into them, right? Like it's an investment.
Yeah.
Any kind of sports
Yeah,
thing.
totally. Yeah, I need a return on investment, just like movies, right? We're the thing that I just found out a couple of nights ago is that they show the budget on IMDb and they show how much you made back. So it's like I think we talked about this before, but it really underlies the notion that the whole world is built on economics. It doesn't matter about if it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It matters how much did you get in return for that movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you could make like the best movie of all time and it costs $20 billion to make. But if you only got like domestically $100,000, even if it's the best movie ever.
Yeah. So that was the complaint with the Ridley Scott thing, where it wasn't a success, The Last Duel, right? Because it was a good movie because I watched it, but in the general public, I don't feel like it's going to work out well. Because the general public now likes things like Marvel or Fast and the Furious.
Exactly.
Like these types of things make a lot more money.
Yeah, it's not about creativity. It's more about economic feasibility, which is like literally everything.
Yeah.
Right? Like we were just talking about the esports and like, you can fund these teams and the players are like, oh, it's so cool. We're playing like, we're doing what we love, which is great. I love that for him. But on the bigger scale, it's always about the person who's taking the money back. We never think about that. Yeah. What do you think of the Moon Knight trailer?
It was good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
We were just talking about how Marvel is like downhill. We're like, oh, I want to jump off this Marvel thing. But when I saw that, I was like, maybe I'll jump back on.
Yeah.
It seems like very mature. Yeah.
It seems, at least in the trailer.
True. And then we watched that and we were like, oh, it's so corny. Yeah, but it theoretically, like what they propose is it's super violent.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I didn't read into it. I didn't read into it too much.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like Daredevil level violent.
Oh.
So that's why I was like, all right, cool. Maybe I'll jump on. I don't know. We'll see.
That seems interesting. Choice. Yeah. Okay.
And what was that? The Batman thing they talked about it. It's like almost 3 hours runtime. The longest Batman movie. And it's built like a horror movie.
But yeah,
so it's like
you
a
were
mystery
saying,
horror. That's really cool. Yeah, superhero movies. They're getting pretty popping. Well, they have been popping, but I mean, like, they lost our interest. But now with these two, I'm like, oh. Like,
well, I mean, we're talking about lost interest in the Marvel side.
You and I, yeah. We're going straight DC, but yeah, Moon Knight looks cool. And the accent that guy used. What's his name? He was in Star Wars. He was in. Is
it Isaac?
Isaac. Whatever. That dude. He's in Dune as well.
Yeah.
He has like an accent in this one, like a British accent or something. And I'm like, oh, you're a pretty good actor now. Like when I heard that, I was like, oh, it doesn't sound like you. Like it looked like he took some acting classes or whatever.
Okay.
No, because it seemed like if you watch Star Wars, it was like he was kind of playing the same character. And then I watched that war movie he did. Yeah. It was kind of the same character.
War movie?
Yeah, remember with the guy from Sons of Anarchy? They're robbing in the jungle. You don't remember that?
No.
They were like ex-military, and then they were like doing jobs to make money because they didn't have any money.
I don't remember.
Okay, well, yeah. So his earlier movies weren't that great, and then Dune was like, okay, but
it was
good,
okay.
but you didn't really
He didn't have much.
You didn't, yeah.
He didn't have much of a role in both Star Wars or the Dune. I feel like.
But I didn't like his character in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
But Dune, he didn't really. He was like playing a badass, and he's supposed to play Metal Gear Solid Snake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But then when I saw Moon Knight and I heard his like accent, I'm like, oh, you're making me believe that you can be other characters now.
Okay.
So kudos to that dude. Okay. Next thing, synthetic wombs. Did you see that thing?
Yeah, I saw that.
Dude, we are quickly becoming robots, man. Like, so basically, if you don't know what this is, they are proposing synthetic wombs for transgender people so that they can have babies as well.
Is it just for transgender babies or transgenders?
That's what they were pushing in that. Like that was the
okay, yeah. Because so it could be just for like any female if they want to do.
No, of course, yeah. There's like other benefits towards it too, but the post that I saw was about like transgender equality.
Yeah, I understand that, but it's like I think it's more. It will turn into being more like
therapeutics for like people who can't have kids,
or or even people who want to have kids, but it may equal. Like for because what happens with females where like if they have babies, right, that they can't go to work, right, or like when they're pregnant or going to give.
Oh, okay. Well, you're taking this into a different direction that I didn't think. All right, go ahead.
So it's more about having more equal rights.
What?
Between men and female.
What do you mean?
The synthetic thing, are you talking about like it's being raised? It's not inside of a female's body, right?
Oh no, I thought it was inside the female's body.
Oh, okay. Then I was thinking something else.
Oh no. Oh, okay. Oh. No, I know what you're talking about. That's something else, though.
Oh, okay. Then I didn't read this one.
That's surrogates, right?
No. But not. Yeah, but it's not like it's not in a person.
Oh, okay. That's what you were thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
no, that's what I thought was like anybody can use it. That's what I was trying to ask. Was it that one or?
No. Well, the one I saw was just talking about synthetic wombs for transgender people.
So how does that work?
I'm not entirely sure. Maybe
that's what I'm saying. What does synthetic wombs mean?
So you think it's just? But then that
is it a person or is it not in a person?
Dude, I don't know. Now you're making me think. I thought it was in the person. That's the one I thought I saw.
Because I had watched a debate of something earlier where something about in order to create more like equal rights.
Yeah.
Like then women don't have to give birth because it would be done synthetically, like in its own kind of.
But they do that kind of.
Not with surrogates. Surrogates is still using another person.
Low woman at work.
Because I didn't really read
for men. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, you're right. Several tech industries. I pulled it up. Several tech industry leaders have floated the idea of synthetic wombs to relieve the burden of pregnancy and allow women to work on an equal footing with men. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's outside of the body.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's just synthetic.
Dude, many people drew comparisons to the lab-grown.
Think of Matrix. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Matrix. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought they were putting inside.
No. That makes sense now. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is like it's synthetic, where it's outside of a person.
So what does this have to do with transgenders, though?
I don't know why. That's what I'm saying. I don't know why they're promoting it in that sense. It makes more sense to promote it more like as an equal thing.
Crazy. Yeah,
so,
okay.
So that the females don't have to actually go through the process of doing pregnancy, because that'll affect their equal rights in a sense of like they have to leave. Like that's why when they say equal rights or not equal pay gap, this is how the pay gap happens.
Yeah.
Because they're out of work.
Oh, interesting.
Right. But if they don't have to be out of work, then there is no pay gap.
Interesting. No, I think I read it too quickly. It says to tackle gender inequality. That was transgender inequality. All right, you know what? I'm just spitting out lies here on this podcast. So I gotta fact check things. Okay.
So the reason I thought that, because I watched a debate talking about equal rights and then having these potential of synthetic wombs.
Oh, okay.
And then I just saw that quickly, what you posted, so I thought that was what that was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is. It is.
So it is what it was.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with transgender. Well, I take that back. Wow. That's 2 times. We gotta fact check. All right, true. But yeah, I don't know if I'd be down for that. Would you? Like,
It's up to the
instead of
individual.
killing.
So I think it's more like a choice thing, right?
So it's basically like surrogates, but not a surrogate. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
matrix pod.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do surrogates make money?
Yeah.
So you're like cutting them out of the equation. The people that work in the surrogate industry, they're like, dude,
Sure.
you're undercutting me now.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what technology always.
No, I'm laughing because it always goes back to economics, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
But then it's that's why it's more about getting more towards equal.
Interesting.
Removing the pay gap, basically.
just by allowing them to work more instead of having to take the time off.
Mm-hmm. But that's up to the individual.
I think the biggest issue is like, what would these these synthetic womb babies be like? What would the ramification? Like, I feel like it's untested. I mean, I guess technically we're in the testing grounds right now, but it's like, would you entrust your child?
So that's what I'm saying. It's a choice thing. So it's
Totally,
it's up to the individual.
It's like
if you
vaccines,
feel
right?
like you want to do natural birth or you want to do synthetic
for sure.
birth.
But I'm saying like it's like the vaccine, right? We don't know what the ramifications of the vaccine will be post-vaccine. So it's like, what are the ramifications of a synthetic womb baby?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, these are in the early things. People are of course going to be
Like,
more
would
skeptical,
they live
right?
long? Like
Will the what?
will they like live long and like healthy lives, or
Yeah, potentially. Maybe you can have your
take away birth defects?
Yeah, potentially. It could be other benefits to it. We don't know yet, right? So.
Yeah. Mutant babies with like superpowers.
Yeah, sure, maybe.
Yeah, remember genetic splicing when we were kids? We're talking about like taking a dog DNA with human DNA, and then you can like make a half human, half dog.
Someone might do that. Yeah.
No, I know totally. That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
like that was like theoretical when we were kids. Yeah,
But I don't know how
in
this
that
thing,
zone
even how
now.
the synthetic thing works. But maybe you have to. It's you have to create the thing has to feel like it's in a womb, right? So
Yeah.
like a human body. So whatever the process that it has to go through, they have to build that.
No, wait, but there's also other things that are related to it. Like if you have a C-section, it turns out that your body's ability to bounce back from like as it goes through like the vaginal canal on exit, it gets bombarded with like bacteria that helps boost your immune system. But they found that women who have C-sections who circumvent that whole process, they just get cut out. Like there's like issues with like your immune system later. So I wonder how that'll affect the baby. If you're in like a womb, are they just gonna like cause you know what I mean? Like how do you reenact the amount of bacteria that it has to go through? Like they have to think of all those things.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, this is all.
Dude, it's like the Beyond Meat burger too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's so many things that go into like meat, but then you made like these synthetic meat products. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. I just wonder like what the ramifications will be going forward. For you know, for like Beyond Meat.
Sure.
For you, like I feel like we're.
But everything's an experiment that we do, right? So
yeah, that's true.
It's like, well, we didn't know we're gonna do all this ozone stuff,
or like cigarette smoke,
or cigarette smoke. We didn't know that's gonna cause like these things. Or
like an ongoing experiment.
Yeah, we're always experimenting, right? We're trying to figure out ways to live easier.
You know what's weird? We're actually the only species that does that. That is in a constant state of research and development. Like if you look at, you know, beaver dams have been beaver dams forever, you know, like they're, you know, like, oh, they're starting to add like lights inside the beaver dams, you know, like 12 entrances instead of 10, you know, like there's no like evolution. There's evolution, but there's no like design evolution.
Right.
Like creative design. Yeah. And then like other animals just perfect their specialty within their zone. Whereas we're always, you know, killing ourselves with our guesses, you know, like sending people to space. We're like, we don't know what that'll do to you.
Well, we know that space is deadly. We're still sending people into space.
Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. something. This is the idea virus in human beings.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if I want to go over this. Maybe I'll do this one later. Let's do the COVID pills are here.
Okay.
So now, it looks like everything. You just showing me a video about what's the name, Bill Maher?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like they're talking about, living with this virus. I mean, with the kill rate now, like it only makes sense to just learn to live with the virus. And I feel like we're heading in that zone too.
No, that was what he said in the thing, that we have to live with the virus. It was just like how do we? I guess they didn't want to overrun it right from the beginning, so kind of level it off.
About Canada, or
I'm talking about Ontario.
Okay, yeah.
To level it off, and then that's why we're opening at the end of this month.
Yeah.
50%, but yeah.
Yeah, and then UK next week.
UK, I think, is this week. Yeah, Thursday.
This upcoming week. Yeah.
Is this upcoming week? I think they said Thursday or something like that.
And they're just gonna.
And
go
that's
full
basically.
open.
They're not like advising. That's what they're saying. Like, it's not mandated anymore. You can do it if you want to do it, but it's not like a mandate from the government.
Nice. So
or an advisory from the government.
So they just removed everything.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah.
That'll be really interesting to see what that's gonna be like.
Yeah.
I think I said this in the last podcast, but I'm really excited to see, or really interested. I don't want to say excited because that's like a positive connotation. I'm more interested to see what we're going to do with these, with more of like the research as to the origin of how this virus started in the beginning. Because if it is true that it was a lab leak, like the lab leak hypothesis that, America was funding the research of coronaviruses and then it broke out of the lab and then affected the whole earth. Like, who are we all going to be pissed at? Because this is a global...
I think there was already something a few weeks ago someone was saying, but I don't know how, that it wasn't from the lab.
It was not from the lab.
Yeah, that's what somebody was...
So how did it... Like, when they find out the origin of this, if it turned out to be human-made, people are going to be so pissed.
Yeah, of course.
And then, like, how are we going to deal with that going forward? Or would they even tell us? Would we just be okay?
That's going to slow down any kind of research.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure. Especially because it's happened in a world scale. It's like, what else are you... And it'll make you re-look at things that are being done, right? Because you'd be like, are you sure you want to be studying that hyper deadly virus? Because if that gets out, we might have a worse scare than COVID, you know? Because like all things considered, we did technically have probably the best case scenario for a worldwide pandemic like this,
Yeah.
If this was like, what was the one? Spanish flu?
Much more deadly though, but yeah.
Yeah, or like, Spanish flu.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, but if it spread like this, like, ooh, that would have been a totally different story. People like bleeding out of all the orifices and stuff.
But it did kind of spread, right?
Spanish flu?
Yeah.
No, but the times are different. I'm saying, like, if that happened now.
Yeah, we weren't as globally, even at that time. We weren't even traveling as much.
That's what I mean.
And it still was a huge thing.
Exactly. So
imagine if it happened now.
Yeah.
That would have been huge.
So that's what I wondered
ramifications from that. And it was only mainly it was killing younger, like our age group.
Yeah. So I wonder now, like, what would, like when you find out who was responsible for this, and then you find out how it happened, like, what is that going to change in terms of the regulations? Will it change regulations? Will people care? These are some questions I want to find out. Like post World War II, when they put those people on trial, like, who's going to trial for this? Because I feel like somebody should be held accountable for this issue. If it was
man-made, you're saying?
Yeah, if it was man-made. If it just like happened in nature, it's like, okay, whatever. But
you can't do anything with that.
Yeah, but they don't believe that. Like, some people don't believe that.
Yeah, some people don't believe that, but there are other groups who have been saying it's not.
But if it did come like totally out of nature, it's like, well, it is what it is. But yeah, imagine if it was like a government agency and they like messed up. Yeah, that could be pretty gnarly. So the only issue with the pill that I've heard of is like liver side effects.
Okay.
Yeah. But the thing about the pill for me though is like, we already have the vaccine. Now the pill is just like worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So, I feel like we're totally out of the woods now in terms of COVID. Now that we have these pills, we have the vaccines, it's like, we know how
We
to
have
treat
multiple
this.
ways of therapeutics against this drug or this virus. So
Yeah, and because of that, it's like, why don't we just fix? Like, why don't we just open up? You know,
that's the
that's the
plan.
plan. Yeah, yeah, for sure,
That's the
for sure.
plan.
Like, I mean, with the UK opening up, it's like,
I
yeah.
think they didn't they do Merck pill a while back.
Oh, they did.
I think they already had approved it a while back for them. The Merck pill, if I'm correct. Maybe that's why they're ready to open up.
Oh, okay. Huh. And they saw like, that it's been working. Hasn't been.
I didn't read into it. I just know that they're opening up. I haven't looked into
Okay.
what exact situations
Or
or
maybe
their
they're just like,
scenario is like in the UK.
maybe they're just like looking at the numbers. They're like, like, we can't keep this thing going. This makes no sense
Yeah.
to like scare the entire world.
While like I just saw another thing where it's like China has 33 people or then locked down this area.
Oh, really? Damn.
So they're still doing the whole lockdown stuff.
Yeah, I just saw that in Ontario they found like animals with COVID now. Although I swear that was a thing from before.
We knew that
Is that
before. Didn't they like cull so many of those meerkats or not meerkats, but like one
that
of
was
those?
in Denmark or something, right?
No, but it was
Here
here.
too?
I don't know if it was here, but it was other areas too.
Call means slaughter.
Yeah, just
So
just
call what it is. They just like genocided them.
well, it is what it is. That's what that means.
Yeah, but it's like a pretty word for like, because if you don't know what call means, like, yeah, they just called them.
No, but
Like,
yeah, it's
they
the same.
genocided them,
But it's
bro.
the same.
Like,
It's the same word, right?
No, I know, but I'm saying like framing marketing, right?
Mhm.
Like if I were to be like, yeah, they just called a bunch of animals, or they slaughtered a bunch of animals, you'd be like, whoa, it's different. Yeah. But yeah, that's something to look forward to. Yeah, I was just getting a Nightmare of the Wolf. I had one. Okay, but you know what? All right, I'm just gonna say it because I thought it would be pretty quick because I thought this was kind of cool. So like ancient knowledge is really like no, modern science is validating ancient understanding. So in yoga, right? So when I was studying yoga, they're like, if you hold this posture, you're going to release a lot of trauma, right? Like psychological trauma. And I was like, I don't really get how that works. But they're like, no, your body stores trauma in specific areas. Like if you are like, you're mad at your like father, you're going to hold in your hips, or like you're mad at your boss, you're going to hold in your heart, something like that, right? And like, that sounded kind of woo-woo to me. Like it makes it, you're like looking at me incredulous. You're like, oh, it makes no sense. So going to the ND, she was like breaking up all my scar tissue, and then she was saying how like the scar tissue in my thigh is tough there, but that is because I had a previous injury, so my body learned how to overcompensate by using a different muscle, and then in crushing this out, or like just like yoga postures, you stretch it out, your body's learning again that I can move safely into this zone. So it's literally the analogy of, you hold the trauma in the area psychologically, but like the way the yogis explained it was super esoteric, but like this one makes total logical sense. And I think it's cool that we're making this like merge now towards ancient understanding and like contemporary studies.
You're coming at it from because you know both sides, right? A lot of people don't know.
I know, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just made no sense to me before when people like, or no, another good one is the spoon. it's kind of weird, but it's called spooning.
Okay.
And no, because spooning can mean other things.
Yeah.
So you take a spoon, a wooden spoon, and then you like lather it up in like coconut oil, and then you like massage out the area, and like that releases trauma again. That's how I was told, right? Like emotional trauma. So what my auntie does, she takes like this gua sha. It's basically a jade tool, and then that thing, she literally rubs it over the muscle until like she feels no more crunchiness,
Right.
which is like basically scar tissue.
Yeah.
But that's literally what you're doing with spooning. But you were telling me that it was like emotional trauma. That was whole, you know what I mean? It's like, it's very weird when you like pair things with science, but they're totally separate worlds. One is totally scientific and one is totally esoteric, right? But like when you see that they're talking about the same thing, it creates more of a validity. Or like how we're always talking about how different cultures always do the same things.
Yeah.
So like, does your culture have like fried fish, like small fried fish?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So we were eating these like Portuguese small fried fish, and they're like, oh yeah, it's these like baby fish that we have in Portugal. And I was like, oh, Filipinos eat that. And then like the dad was like, oh, we eat that in Guyana. Like you eat it too. And like the desserts are all the same. The fish, like, you know what I mean? Where if you look at it, if you see the tree and not the forest, you're gonna think we're all separate.
Yeah.
But then if you like zoom out, you're like, no, we're all talking about the same thing. Let's focus on the principle. Because then if we focus on the principle, we can unite as one species.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the thing, yeah.
like
That's the thing of me, like always seeing the similarities versus
Yeah.
the differences. Differences are very, very minute.
Yeah,
There's more
totally.
similarities than you can believe, right?
Yeah, and I feel like if we looked at it as similarities instead of differences, we can hit, like, although this sounds kind of weird, world peace, because we're all just talking about the same thing. We have so much in common, but we're all focused on the details and not the, you know, we're looking at the forest, we're looking at the tree and not the forest. This would be an interesting article. Maybe I'll write this after the podcast. Yeah, it just got me thinking about that. Like, it's weird that what I'm doing with ND is what I was doing in yoga, but I
Right.
never believed it in yoga because I'm like, all right, how is this? Like, I felt it.
Wonder if a lot of these things are lost in translation,
True too. Very
right?
true,
As
yeah.
a teaching, where I think maybe it was more.
Well, I mean, the yogis were the scientists of the time, right? Because they were just like, but they were
Yeah,
doing
yeah. But I'm
empirical
saying like
studies.
these like conversions of or whatever they've been writing or stuff like that or teaching.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like bad translations
True,
where
that's true,
it became more focused on like woo woo stuff versus
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the science behind it
Yeah.
too, right?
Actually, speaking of bad translations, woo woo, you know, chakras are just the glands within the body. So the chakras were created by the Egyptians, but the Egyptians were, although people like attribute the chakras to like Hinduism, they actually got that from the Egyptians. And the name for Egypt at the time was Alchemit, which is like alchemist, which
Okay.
is the chemist,
Yeah.
because they were doing a lot of autopsies, and they noticed these glands, right? So like the throat chakra is actually where the thyroid gland is. The abdomen chakra is where the adrenals are, and then the head chakra is where the pineal gland is. So like they were, when you spoke about lost in translation, like it got turned into these energetic locations, but then you find out like they were already cutting up the body and seeing these glands. So
Right.
maybe they meant like, no guys, these are like physical things, but then people were like, oh no, we can't see it, but
Yeah, it's maybe easier to teach sometimes with
like energetically and like
yeah,
theoretical
and
stuff.
and these weird stories or something like that, like teaching.
Yeah,
it in
because
that
at the time
sense.
they're like, yeah, we cut up a whole body and we found like, they were like, what? You cut up a body? But it's like, no, they were doing science at the time.
Yeah,
Like Egypt was actually like the storehouse for a lot of scientific stuff at the time. Yeah, that's why their name alchemists,
Right.
chemists. Yeah. Okay, final thing, Witcher, Nightmare of the Wolf. Loved it.
very good.
Yeah,
Is it considered anime
no, I wouldn't call it anime. I mean, it has an anime,
vibe?
yeah, but I wouldn't call it.
Yeah, I don't think they call it anime.
It's sort of like, is Avatar Airbender an anime? I mean, I'd say that, but it's
Well,
more like
no,
Western
it's-
cartoon.
Yeah, it's Western cartoon.
Yeah,
Wouldn't call that anime.
they take a lot of elements of anime,
Yeah.
but it's not. Oh, yeah, it's definitely not anime. But yeah, I think that after watching this, it actually inspired me to like watch the show and play the video game because it creates a good base for the story going forward.
Yeah,
You know, whereas like when you were playing Witcher,
I guess this is more of understanding who the Witchers are,
yeah, totally,
where they
totally.
come from.
Yeah, because like when you're thrust in that world, you're thinking like, oh, these Witchers are, you know, these beings that fight monsters. Like when you first played Witcher, you're like, oh, this game is supposed to be amazing, blah blah.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to grasp all these like stories of like, okay, what is a Witcher? Okay, he's kind of like this person that fights monsters, blah blah blah. But then you watch this, it's like, no, they were experiments that were created by mages to offset the other thing that the mages created, which were monsters.
Monsters.
So it's sort of like the story of Eternals, where they created like the monsters to clear the planet, and then they're like, oh no, these monsters got out of control. We need something to fight back,
Right.
which became Witchers.
Deviants in that movie.
Deviants in that movie, yeah. Yeah, deviants are monsters.
Yeah.
And then the Eternals are the Witchers.
Yeah.
Parallels. So, yeah. But yeah, or like I was saying to you before the podcast, that if you watch episode 4 of Star Wars, which is the first one that came out, you think Darth Vader's evil. But then if you watch episode 1, you're watching it through a totally different lens where it's like, I'm watching Anakin's story.
Yeah.
So now that I watched the anime, I'm watching the show and I want to play the video game, but watch it through Vesemir's eyes,
Right.
right? Instead of like Geralt's eyes, which I think is really cool. Yeah. I think that they need to make, like, so much is lost in doing live action that, like, when I saw the anime, I was like, this is a really cool, like,
They can
visual.
do you can do so much more with drawings versus
like when he's like
live
flying
action.
through the air shooting like air, like when they do like the hand stuff, you know, like they do like the pulse blast in the live action, looks kind of like weird.
Yeah.
It's like kind of comical, like, you know, and they kind of make fun of it. But like if you watch in the anime or like the cartoon, it looks super sick. They're like shooting pulse blasts at everyone and like flying through the air, doing sword stuff, shooting fire.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they should do more. Like, I don't mind the both live action and the other one, as long as they keep doing them, I guess.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
telling the
true.
more of a story. I think they should do another one like the cartoon.
The cartoon,
Yeah.
yeah. Same. I think they should do a whole series. I would watch that. Yeah.
I mean, it's from a book, so there's a lot of lore around this Witcher world.
Yeah, true.
So,
Yeah, Netflix is really capitalized on The Witcher, right? Like, that's their flagship right now. That's the one that, like...
I mean, they want something like Game of Thrones, so...
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah,
so
totally.
they're trying to hit that.
And I think if you type in Witcher, like, a bunch of other stuff comes up, too, that you could watch.
Yeah, but I think they're like behind the scenes sort of stuff, I think.
Oh, really? Oh, lame.
Yeah, they had like, I think, creating the monsters, like...
Oh, okay. So it's not, like, a part of the lore.
It's not-
I thought
I
it was,
don't-
like, more Vesemir style stuff.
No, I don't think as a story-wise, no. These are like behind-the-scenes stuff,
Oh, okay.
I believe.
Yeah.
Or like who these monsters are and stuff like that, I think.
So
I didn't
ne-
watch them yet, but...
So Netflix really needs to invest in more cartoons and...
I think that's what's happening, right? Like that much Witcher content, seeing all that, they're trying to really play
pump
it
it
up
up.
here. Like they want more.
Yeah,
they want to do
totally.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like having read that they've already done or written the third
Oh, they did?
season, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
sick. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Or like
cool.
the script's already ready or something.
Oh, cool.
Like prior to even, or just when it came out to season 2. So it's like, yeah. So let's...
Yeah, they're really like building like a whole universe, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
they're
with,
hoping
like,
this is a huge success, right? So like that's why. Like it is getting there. Like it's...
But I mean, like when you create, so like you create an idea later, and then you just don't know when it's gonna pop. So like the Witcher video game came out, but now you have like this back catalog of stuff that people are gonna run back to. Like when the Witcher show came out, people are like, I'm sure they went out and bought the game.
Yeah, I think it helps even for other things that we're
Yeah, that's what I
doing
mean, yeah.
that were in the Witcher franchise or
Yeah,
whatever.
and then you're gonna buy like the books to read the books, and then
Mm-hmm.
you know.
It's a continuous thing. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just trickles back. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Goes back to economics once again.
Yeah. The same thing with the Dune movie. I think they probably some people bought the Dune books.
Oh yeah, true. You're right. Because they want to read about like the whole story.
Yeah, like once you go, oh, it's super cool. Then you're like learn more about the history. You'd probably check out the books if you're really into that much into it. So
I wonder if, I don't know if this is like accurate, but I wonder if they make any like future foresight decisions on that. They're like, yeah, let's greenlight this idea now. We could just sell it again 20 years down the line. Like they're like
there's
investments, you know what I mean?
no. There's always an idea. I feel like there could be an idea like this could be a movie. So that's like a later idea
Right.
for the book, right? So
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like this.
you're banking on things to be like more successful over time too, right?
Right.
So,
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Jack Reacher. I just saw a commercial for it. They're coming out with that. I read like one of his books before, and then the movies came out, and then but he has a whole series behind him, right? And now like that's catching on. It's like you have backlogs of franchise stuff that you can purchase.
Right,
You know. Yeah, it's crazy. I think the lesson out of this whole podcast is 20-year overnight success. Because it's like, dude, Jack Reacher books have been around for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Witcher books have been around for a while.
Yeah.
SpaceX has been around for a while. KFC, Chick-fil-A. You know what I mean? Like,
there's no such thing as overnight success, but there is a 20-year success.
but like we're marketed like, oh, I just need to pop. I'm just gonna pop. But it's like, no, you just gotta do the foundation, and then later on, when things seem to align, you're like, oh, this, like everything looks 2020 in hindsight. You're like, oh, this the path was there, but it's like, really, no, you just kept hacking away at the tree.
Right.
Yeah. So take that away. No 20-year. No overnight success. There are only 20-year overnight successes. Keep hacking away at the tree. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Anything else, Fish?
No, I think that's it.
All right, cool.
It's quite a lot for...
I know.
But at least the last few podcasts has been a lot.
I know. They've been, like, a lot of stuff happens in the week. I'm like, oh, dude, we should talk about this. We should talk about this.
The world's crazy.
Yeah. It's popping right now. Should I name it? Nightmare of the Wolf. Another one's like, oh, I can't wait to hear about this Witcher one. It's like, it'll wait till the whole end again.
Sure. Yeah, I think that is the more popular one.
Yeah.
I think. Maybe.
Yeah, true. All right, cool. All right, till next time, everyone. Look out for this episode entitled Nightmare of the Wolf. Witcher, Nightmare of the Wolf.
Yep.
Tease.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors, Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Fish.
Peace.